Hello and welcome. I just did a my video on the Espro cups. I unboxed them on here a little bit ago, and then just took me a while to get the video together. Um, I seem to be in a spot where I'm juggling a whole bunch and uh, just getting some of the videos together has been a bit of a challenge. Last week, I got just sick enough to lose all energy to do this video. So this week I'm doing two videos. I'm doing this video, and then I'm going to record another one right after as well. And going to aim to put this one up today. It's Friday, and then I'll have the other one up tomorrow and get back on track again with these anyways. I've got other videos in the works too, the longest one being the roaster video, which has been an interesting challenge because every time I edit the video, I figure out like a way I want to explain something, and then that I also need to record other things and take more pictures, and then I roast more, and then I learn more, and I modify the video based on what I've learned, and so on and so forth. The process of like roasting coffee at home is really fascinating. There's a lot to learn, and that experience is constantly evolving. And I'm trying to make a video about this particular product that's really comprehensive, but that also means that every time I learn, I need to add or alter things that I've already recorded. So I'm getting very, very close to done. I think it's going to be, hopefully next week, I have one more segment to record, and then I'm just going to call it good. And maybe I should have done this at the beginning, is done this in stages, like done a first impressions video, and then a intermediate, and then an advanced, just as I learn the thing. So I might take that approach with videos in the future, just so that I don't spend so gosh darn long actually making a video. But then again, part of the reason for doing it is I want to give a full, complete impression for people who are looking to, like, if it's a product review especially, I don't want to just use it for like a week and then be like, here's everything you need to know about it, because most of what you want to know about a product that you're going to use for a long time are the things that you don't find out until you've used it for a long time, like you've used it regularly. Like in the case of a coffee roaster, what's it like going through this experience of starting to regularly roast your own coffee, and how does that work with this particular product? Anyways, that's just a little bit of a side comment on videos. I have the other sort of longer video I have is the cleaning of the Breville Barista Touch, which I think I've actually finished recording everything for that, and I just need to put the video together and put that up. So hopefully I can get that together soon. But amongst all of this, of course, putting together and publishing issues for the magazine is very encompassing as far as time goes. Anyhow, so I just recorded the video for the tasting cup set, and I'm enjoying the last, the last of the coffee that I recorded or brewed for the video, which is Kandra Coffee's Spring Blossom blend. It's a Peru and a Costa Rica, and I'm drinking it in the, let's see if it'll show up here. That says fruity berry on the bottom. So this cup accentuates fruity flavors, which I'm quite enjoying. I've been making notes about topics to like make these videos on. It's been interesting doing these videos on a regular basis. When I can plan out a topic, I think they come across more valuable when I don't plan out a topic. I end up just kind of talking about what I'm doing, which maybe is fine as well. Like I said, I am going to do these every week for the year. I think that for myself, there's value in just having that plan set and then following through with it. But I would like to make sure that these these videos are like valuable in some way or entertaining or something like that. I could record like brewing lots of coffee, but I feel like that gets boring after a while because it's all just going to be the same thing. Anyhow, so what's on my mind today? I have been observing, and this is going to be or already is, I guess, a reoccurring topic. How businesses use the idea of ethics to sell their products. There's multiple different elements to this subject. I think the idea of ethics in coffee is interesting and important to think about because there are so many people involved in the production of coffee, so many actual lives and generations of lives and families and communities are highly dependent on coffee. So I think there are more than some other products and industries real ethical concerns to be taken into account. When I published the issue on Cafe Feminino, some of the research that I came across made it pretty clear that ethical considerations have relatively low impact on how consumers make buying decisions. So something like just because it was like making branding a coffee as ethical really only brought in like 10% more value to the people involved. Part of that was in those research papers that I saw. Part of that I think was that most of the value increase ended up in the hands of like the roasters and sellers of the coffee versus the people who grew it. But also that there was research that showed that up to a certain point, talking about the ethical considerations of a coffee affected consumers' buying decisions. But after that point, and that wasn't hard to get to that point, but after that point, it had no impact. Like people, I think, are interested in that kind of thing if it doesn't inconvenience them, and that's just an observation of human behavior. I think it's very, very hard to get people to make ethical considerations if it perceptively inconveniences them. Yeah, and that's just a hard hurdle to cross. Like, how do you get people to think about the coffee they're getting and the people involved if it means that they have to think about their coffee more and spend more money on it. Coffee does have this really fortunate aspect to it where the more work you put into the care of everyone involved, the better tasting the coffee actually is, like, objectively. But you really have to be into the taste of coffee and enjoying the natural nuance of it and intricacy of it in order for that to matter. If you just like charred coffee covered in milk and sugar, then you're gonna drink pretty much anything, and you're not gonna see the value in paying a lot more for coffee that has like subtle cinnamon, fruit, nut, chocolate, whatever flavors, but which require more care to produce and brew. Kind of rambling here, but the like the origination of what I'm thinking here is companies that sell based off of ethical considerations, but which really have no impact ethically. And then I guess that brings up the question of what is ethical in coffee. I think the easiest guideline you can go by, for me, I think the most important thing with your coffee, as far as from an ethical consideration, that is everyone involved getting the value that they need, at least to live and keep doing the work and grow. The only way to do that in coffee is if you can trace the coffee in your mug all the way back to the person who grew it. If there's a connection there, if your roaster has that connection, or your roaster has the connection to the importer that has the connection to the farmer, the more removed you get from the origin, the more opportunity there is for corruption. And you could even say the more certain that corruption will happen. The history of coffee is rife with colonialism, slavery, exploitation. It's not a great history, as is, you could say, much of Western civilization's history, or much of humanity's history, perhaps. But we do live in a time where we have the capability to look at the choices that we're making about our coffee and make conscious decisions to say, well, if I can't buy, like, if the coffee I'm buying, if I don't know who made this, then I'm not going to buy it. Like, we have the ability to say that, and to go find someone who can say that, who can say, okay, I know the name of that farmer, and where they farm and how they farm and who's involved. At the very least, you can make those decisions. I think where it becomes tricky to try to say that is, it feels challenging on a daily basis to make that decision, and it is. I think that this is one of the main reasons to get into brewing your own coffee at home really well, is that or finding like really good local cafes where you can confirm this. But I can't say for every coffee that I have, I can't say that off the top of my head I know who the farmer is. But I have made conscious decisions and researched to buy from roasters who I know have those connections, either directly with the farmers or with importers who have those connections. So I trust the roasters that I purchase from. And then when I do get a coffee, I do like to learn as much as I can about it. I don't necessarily think about it all the time when I'm having the coffee, but I do know that connection is there, and that I'm making the best decision that I can every day when I have a cup of coffee. So I think that is a reasonable thought process to take, is to just think about, am I drinking coffee that has that connection? Can I go to my roaster and say, hey, who's the farmer that this coffee came from? And if they don't know, they should be able to go to their importer and find out that answer. And if they can't do that, then you have no idea where this coffee is coming from, what it's been through, how the people who made it have been treated. There's no accounting for any of the ethics of how that coffee got to your cup. And I think that we owe it to ourselves to be able to have that accountability. Anyways, I think that's enough for me for today. Let me ask you, do you think about the farmer when you buy your coffee? Do do you buy from specifically from sources where you know that there is that direct connection? And it doesn't necessarily have to be the roaster directly with the farmer, because that's actually a really hard, like economically difficult thing for roasters to do. But there are a lot of resources for roasters to buy through larger, established importers who do have those connections. So it's not hard to make sure that those connections are there. But I think I think the economics of coffee do certainly drive people to not think about that. And as consumers, we have the ultimate decision in the end, and that's which coffee to buy. So, do you think about that when you buy your coffee? Is my question. And maybe in the comments below, put down your favorite roaster who does support that kind of work in coffee. I think that'd be pretty great. If you have any questions, of course, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.